Hi everyone, so I am in Leesburg today and I'm going to show you a little bit of the buildings here in the background. So I'm taking a recorded video just in case my phone overheats. Because if I do a live stream, often my phone will overheat. So that's why I'm taking a recorded video, but this is a very large downtown area. It's actually the largest town in Virginia, which, notice I said town, not city, okay? So it's the largest town. I think the residents are estimated around 50,000 people. You can see some of the historic buildings. I just wanted to show that. And some of the stonework here. I wonder if this is, original to the downtown from, what was it, the 1700s or so. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and flip the camera so we can start walking around and seeing some cool stuff. All right, so here we have what I believe is the main street. So you got some looks like some historic buildings. So while I'm walking, I'll just talk a little bit about the area. So Leesburg. Oh, and actually, you know what? I want to show this. I can't believe I already see something I want to show here. All right. There's so much to see here. I'm almost considering doing this in two parts. Oh, and look, there's a Loudoun Museum. I didn't know there was a Loudoun Museum, so it's only open until 4, so it's too late to go there today. Journey to Freedom mural. Let me zoom out so you guys can see. Oh, look. Wow, that's really well done, the painting. Here, let me center it so you guys can see better. That's pretty cool. Yardley Taylor. There's a name right there. Yeah, it looks like it's like it looks like a civil rights or maybe a slavery type of situation going on there. Let me see what it says. Obviously I won't be able to read all this. Let me zoom out so you guys can screenshot that if you're interested in reading all of it. But let me just try to find some highlights here. It says that Reverend Leonard Andrew Grimes was born to free parents, was a pastor, political organizer, carriage driver, and covert operative for the Underground Railroad. Okay, so yeah, it was during slavery, antebellum slavery. So Reverend Grimes dedicated his life to the abolitionist cause after being imprisoned for 2 years for helping a fugitive enslaved family escape to freedom. His activism continued in Boston, where he became a central figure in the fight for freedom and the abolition of slavery. So that's him. So yeah, this is just talking about a few folks. Now, let me see when this was done. I'm trying to see when the mural was done. It probably has a date on it. And given that there's an @ sign, obviously that's a social handle. So it was probably done very recently. And you can tell that it was just from the style. I mean, that obviously that must be when it was done. It might just be, some kind of anniversary of it, but yeah, you can read about this if you want. A Journey to Freedom mural, if you want to learn more about that. I want to say I've actually never been to downtown Leesburg just walking around. So I have been here at a coffee shop and a restaurant. Those are the two places I've been. So, I have visited a few places, but I've never done an actual walk here. So yeah, let's take a look at this building. This is super historic, and I'll talk a little bit about this while I show you guys around. So as you can see, this is very historic. I think this is a reconstruction of the original, I guess you would call this a facade, because this would be that foundation down there. This is one of the buildings that was originally built here when the land was acquired, and they had specific requirements that these individuals who were building homes here had to follow. So it looks like there's a plaque right there, but I could be wrong. Those were called covenant houses. I don't know if that's what this is. This is just talking about women's voting rights and things like that. It looks like you can turn the pages. Oh, I don't want to touch what everyone's been touching. Oh wait, I guess it's this way. It is very not conducive to page turning, but I was hoping to find a plaque because I know this building is like a pretty important building, but it's strange that there's no plaque. I'm gonna look one more time for a plaque. So, you know, because this is pre-recorded, I'll put some information in here about this building so that you guys can learn more about it. And this, Lafayette and Leesburg, you know, I wonder if that app is the one that you can do a walking tour of Leesburg as well. They have an app that you can literally do like a virtual walking tour, but that's not the purpose of this channel. So these are kind of my candid reactions as I'm going around places and just going for little walks. They have a little kind of garden area back there. But yeah, you know, I'll try to place some information in here about this, but we'll see what this is. I haven't seen this. From Paradise to Peril, it says, and you guys can screenshot if you're interested in reading this. This is about the Civil War time. In this area, Virginia Civil War Church, that's like their logo. They have that all kinds of places. So it says, hey everyone, so during this portion of the video, my microphone got super muffled, so I'm just going to include a voiceover for this portion so the information can be heard a little bit better. So it says, Leesburg, paradise of the youthful warrior, land of excellent edibles and beautiful maidens. So wrote a Confederate artilleryman in late 1861. A year later, a northern correspondent found Leesburg a weary town full of battle-scarred buildings and wary inhabitants. A prosperous southern town of about 2,000 at the outbreak of the Civil War, Leesburg was strategically located on the border between the Union and Confederacy. By war's end, the town had endured bombardment, the passage of Union and Confederate armies, federal occupation, disintegration of civil authority, frequent raids, and multiple combats in its streets. I'd also like to add here, this is not from this informational historic plaque here, but I want to add that Leesburg it changed hands over 150 times. So I can understand why that would be very tiresome and stressful for the people that live there. I mean, that's a lot, you know? So let's get back to the video. So this is Elijah White, and he's a hero at Ball's Bluff apparently. So Ball's Bluff, and I might walk around a little bit and talk about this more, but you can screenshot these and read about them later. These are just talking about the different battles and things like that. And I'm going to talk about that one as I'm walking, because that Battle of Ball's Bluff is probably the most prominent battle that happened here. The Army of the Potomac executes deserters in Leesburg. Yeah, I'm not sure which battle that one's from, but I'll talk about this a little bit as I'm walking. So the Battle of Bluff, there is an island. I know, isn't that funny? There's an island near here, but we're in the middle of an inland area of Virginia. So this island is actually on a river. By the way, that was Mervyn Jackson Park. There's a sign right there. Anyways, if you want to visit that. And there's some more historic buildings. So Battle of the Bluff or whatever it is. There was an island in the Potomac River, and it's a pretty wide river, so there was a big island in the middle of it. Now, currently, it's owned by, I believe, just like a private resident or something, because there's a private residence in the middle of that island, and it's not open to the public. There are no bridges that go to that island anymore. I don't know if there ever were, actually. So there's no bridges, but why do barbershops always have these? It's so random. I just passing by this, but like, why? What is this? It's like a rotating candy cane looking thing. Why do barbershops always have that? Like, what does it mean? I have to find that out. Maybe I can find that and insert information in here later, but that's a Mexican restaurant. Okay, so I'm gonna keep talking about the Battle of the Bluff while I flip the camera. Also, outfit of the day. So I have this peplum top. It's kind of like a gothic look. This reminded me of stained glass. I don't know why that reminds me of stained glass, but because it does, I just put my cross on today, if you can see that. So I thought that went well with this top. It's kind of gothic. It's actually velvet, which is interesting because it's a sleeveless top. But yeah, I thought pants went well with it. And I tried to do a little, edgy look. And I wore sneakers because I know it's gonna be doing a lot of walking. It looks like it's gonna rain, as you can see. There's a few clouds in the back behind me. So that's another reason I wanted to wear and there's some people, let me get out of the way, but that's why I wanted to wear something that was, closed-toed shoes, just in case it rained. So yeah, But anyways, talking about the Battle of the Bluff, or Battle of Bluff, whatever it is. So basically that on that island, there was a bunch of Union soldiers that were stationed on that island. And someone that was intel for the Union Army saw that, this door looks like it's seen better days, saw that they thought there was like a camp there, a Confederate camp or something like that, from the island where they were encamped there. So the Confederacy at that time, they had occupied Leesburg. And so the Union troops decided to go ahead and do like, I guess, a raid, right? So they do that, and they try, and like, long story short, they basically get their ass handed to them, essentially. They kind of have to run away. And as they're running away, the Confederate troops, and by the way, I think this was like one of the earlier battles in the Civil War. So basically, as they're running away, the Confederate troops were like shooting them, whatever, and they die in the river. A lot of them drowned. And one of the reasons there was that they did have to retreat was there was a bottleneck, because they didn't have enough boats, because they were obviously using boats to go from their island where they were encamped to like this side of the river in Virginia, so that they could do the raid. And because of that, you know, they ran out of boats, or like they didn't have enough, so it created this weird like bottleneck situation. So the Confederate troops ended up, you know, obviously winning in that, I guess, exchange or raid. So as they're running away, they get, you know, shot, they drown in the river, and so they die in the river. They float to the top, and then they go down the river, and what's down the river is DC. So as they're floating down the river in DC, they eventually go to DC. People see this and they're like, I'm sorry, why are there literally like dead bodies like floating in the water? Like, I mean, they know why, because there's obviously like a war going on, but they're kind of having like a WTF moment. Like, yeah, that's kind of like messed up. Like, can we not have that happen, because it's like traumatic or whatever? It's like very like triggering or whatever, or upsetting, or whatever we would call it, like very upsetting. So they basically create this kind of organization that I don't know what it's called, I forget what it's called, I'll try to put it in here, but they make rules for like ethics of war, so that like you can't like do certain things, like there are like rules you have to follow in battle, so that stuff like that doesn't happen. So yeah, there's a really important battle for that reason. But yeah, I mean, that is kind of crazy though. Like when you wake up and you just see like a bunch of dead people just like randomly, because like, think about it, they're probably kind of like rotting or whatever. Let me not say this when people are like trying to eat food. Sorry, I'm like passing by people eating. I'm like, let me not say that while people are eating. Yeah, like that's kind of like traumatic, seriously, for real. Like, because like you wake up and you just see like somebody dead, just like floating, and they're probably rotting. Like, that's kind of a lot. Let me flip the camera. I'm going to show you guys this. So here we have a guy that's just sitting here, pretty realistic. I don't know what that is. It almost looks like a Ray-Ban, like the Meta glasses. You know, they have those like little things on them. So it says he's his Stanley Calkins, and he's the co-founder of the Leesburg Airport. He's a World War II veteran and a role model for acts of kindness, charity, and greater good, dedicated July 13th, 2019. The site of Calkins Jewelers, his business of 61 years made by donations from the people of Loudoun, sculptor Jeffrey Hall, and then they just have some donors down there. So that's who that is. Leesburg Airport is I feel like it's similar to Manassas Airport, actually. So here's a few buildings. I'm gonna zoom out so you guys can see this. There's a lot of restaurants here, and you have some that are also coming soon. So yeah, I'll talk a little bit while I'm showing this street. So in 1699, first of all, there was a bunch of Native Americans, indigenous peoples living here. The tribes were, it started with an A, and I think the second one started with an S. I think it was like Algonquin. I forget how to exactly pronounce it, but yeah, there were several tribes that were here. And so like, I think it was like the first written or recorded encounter with European descendant, like Caucasian and natives happened like in this kind of area. This guy came here and he had an encounter with them here. In 1699 that happened. And then, you know, I believe it was those tribes, or many tribes, were pushed down from the Maryland area down into this area at that time. And look, there's Ball's Bluff, a sports tavern. Many of them were pushed down into this area at that time. And so then they pushed them out further. I think it was west. I think it was someone, and originally I think that like this happened in maybe like New York area, like Albany or something, but they had pushed them out toward like the western areas. So this, long story short, this area was acquired by the Europeans at that time. And they eventually, this land was acquired by I believe his name was Lord Fairfax. I'm not sure what his first name was, but if you're in this area, we kind of know Lord Fairfax because his name is all over the place, because he basically like owned a lot of this area because he had like a land grant. Now there was another person before him, and he was given this land. I think it was called like there's a name for it, starts with a P, like province or something, but he was given this land to on behalf of this person named King Charles II, but he was not a king at that time. He was actually in exile and he was living here, and he was trying to get his throne back. This is like in England, so this guy, he's from England. Anyways, he was trying to get his throne back. So to do that, he gave like a bunch of land to this other person to, I guess, like try to make it more legitimate for him to be able to get his throne back. And kind of in my head, while I was like listening to this / reading this, like I'm thinking like, dude, that's not gonna work. But I guess it worked, because he got his land back. Or I mean, he got the throne, so I guess it worked for him. So he eventually did take the throne again. But anyways, after that, at some point way later, this Lord Fairfax like owned this area, right? So he sold this land, just like this little area of it. I think he was leasing it for a while, at least portions of this huge area that he actually owned at that time. So he was he went ahead and sold it. And so they had started this town, long story short, over, you know, a number of years they started it. So yeah, and that's kind of a little bit of background about how this town came to be. But here we have, and we've talked about these before, this is to prevent, I'm gonna zoom out, this is to prevent people from crawling over because they get poked by these little things. Anyways, Loudoun County Courthouse, that's what we have here. I'm gonna zoom in so you guys can read that. Hopefully you guys can see that. But yeah, the Loudoun County Courthouse, first occupied in 1895, is the third on this site, which was designated for that use on the 1759 Plat of Leesburg. On the 12th of August, 1776, the Declaration of Independence was read from the doorway of the first courthouse. The second was built of brick in the federal style in about 1811. And then the Marquis de Lafayette, on his grand tour of the United States, was entertained here on the 9th of August, 1825. President John Quincy Adams and former President James Monroe, who then lived near Leesburg, escorted him. In 1894, the Norris brothers of Leesburg built this courthouse, designed by William C. West of Richmond in the classical style. Okay, so that's that. Yeah, that guy that they were talking about, that Marquis, I hope I'm saying that correctly. I think he's French. He was really big in the Revolutionary War, I believe. So that's why it was a big deal that he was like coming here. That's the courthouse. I'm just showing you. So that was why it was such a big deal for him to like come here. I wonder if you can go inside. Charles Hamilton Houston Courthouse. That's what it looks like, guys. So yeah, I bet you probably can't go inside of it. Let's try to take a look. Yeah, it's locked. You can't go in. All right. So, yeah, I've never been in here. That over there, since I may not have time to go back, I want to show it. That's a bank. They turned it into a restaurant, and I've been there. That was the one restaurant I told you I've been here. Ooh, there was a bee right there. It's called Lightfoot, I think. I like it. I thought it was really good. But yeah, that's that. I'm avoiding the bees. There's a lot of bees. This just looks like a little statue over here. I wonder what this is. 1776. So it's probably Declaration of Independence or something like that. The Spirit of Loudoun. It was dedicated in 2015. Oh, Francis Lightfoot Lee. That must be what that restaurant's named after. Okay. It doesn't say anything about him, so. Lafayette's tour on August 9th. Okay, so that was where he was greeted by local officials and escorted to a courthouse for dinner. Yeah. Here's another view of the courthouse. All right. So I guess that's that. Maybe let's go out this way and see what we see. I hope it doesn't start to rain, because then I'm stuck here if that happens. I mean, in the rain, you know, I'd have to like, I'm so far away from my car right now. This kind of reminds me of the World War II, or I think it's World War I memorial in DC, and it looks like it does say World War II on it. So, oh, there's a squirrel. Look at that detailing. Let me try to zoom in so you guys can see that. That's pretty cool. That's pretty detailed. It looks like that clay that's native to this area. So that was to honor those that served in Loudoun. Vietnam Memorial. So they've got different like war memorials, it looks like here. Now I don't know what this building is, but we'll find out. I'm walking up these steps. All right. Pretty cool. Large pillars. Oh, look, you can come in here. You're allowed because that's open. That's open all the way. See, the other one didn't open all the way. Oh, so this must be the newer portion of the courthouse or something. So it looks like they were talking about several courthouses, so that's probably why. Okay. Courthouse yard. I'm gonna zoom out so if you guys are interested, you can screenshot that. They said that in 1869, I'll try to read a little bit of it, proud African-American men from Leesburg lined up here to vote for the first time. This moment reflected the massive changes the Civil War brought to the United States. The scene was entirely different from before the war, when African Americans had lined the courthouse steps not to vote, but as people to be bought and sold. So you can read all of this. I mean, they have a lot, and I guess let's see the first vote. Yeah, that must be, was drawn by A.R. Wad, hopefully I'm saying that correctly. The pictures from the Library of Congress. Yeah, that's pretty crazy to think about. Wait, when did they start? Oh, look, they're fighting for something. They're running around. When did they first start voting? Here, at least. Oh my gosh. What the heck? Okay, that came like so close to me. I'm so scared now. Like, why do they have no like fear or shame? They're just like coming right at me. Like, that's scary. Okay. Where? I hope I got that on camera, like how close that actually got to me. I was trying to see like when they voted in 1869. So that wasn't long after the Civil War, I feel like, right? So that's pretty interesting, like the drastic changes. All right, see, like this wasn't open all the way to your side. So there's a post office. That looks pretty old and historic. It's pretty cool. So one thing about Leesburg, as we're walking here, I believe that this goes to Route 7. Route 7 and Route 15 remember how I was talking in the Manassas video about the Manassas Junction, the railroad? Well, imagine that with like roads here. Like there was the Carolina Road, something Carolina, and then there was like another one that went toward like west. Well, that was also now what Route 7 is. And then like the Carolina one was probably 15. So 15 and 7, this is where they cross. Not here, I was just talking because this, you know, one of these is 7. But, you know, anytime you have like major routes like that converging, or a water source, which, I mean, this isn't too far from the Potomac, you know, you get a good area to settle. So now this looks like it's a very new courthouse here. That looks like it's a courthouse. I can't see what does that say. Yeah, that's a courthouse. It says up there. So yeah, that must be the newer one. So yeah, they got a lot of courthouses. So here we have another historic building, you know. So there were buildings here that had certain requirements like I was talking about before. And you know, this guy had some land here after this was sold, and by that Fairfax guy. And it's a little coffee shop right here. Like, I don't understand this. Like, they know this is well, I guess they can't put it there. That's fair. But also, like, this is very bad planning because, like, I don't really want to go in the street, but I also don't really, because, like, look at that. You can't. Okay, I got around the trash cans. Oh, look at these pretty flowers. I think that those are hibiscus. Oh, and look. I have to do this. They match my outfit. They kind of match my outfit a little bit. They're at least purple. They're in the right color family. Okay, so I'm walking. And this is so interesting. Look at all these leaves. It looks like it's fall, but it's not. That's kind of pretty. I like fall. It's my favorite season, so. Okay, so we're just like walking. I have never, again, been in this area, so these are some pretty flowers too. They're kind of purple as well, but they're not dark enough to really match my outfit completely, so. Look at these beautiful lilies. They look so perfect, and look at this little guy right there. He's a little moth. Try to zoom in so you guys can see that. Look at that. I mean, that's like a perfect picture. Okay, so I walked a little bit down the street. There wasn't really a lot I wanted to video. Look at these pretty flowers and this big rooster. There wasn't a lot I really wanted to video in that area, so I just shut off the video. But look, they've got a vintage record store here. Look at all these little houses. Even this looks very like picturesque. Like, I feel like power lines are like a vibe. You know, I feel like it's vintage vibes because like I don't see power lines much anymore, at least where I live. So that's kind of like, oh, look at this, kind of cool too. There's a lot of really pretty places. Like, I should come back here with my camera. Now this is look at this cool car. That's pretty cool. I wonder what it is. That's a small little place here. It's a Crosley. It's a Crosley. I don't want to like go in detail, like, you know, show it because it isn't really a show. So, Mighty Midget Kitchen, hot food. Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure what that is. I guess it's like a, almost like a food truck. So this is called Mom's Apple Pie. Bakery, coffee, and incredible pie. We haven't gone inside anywhere. Let's take a look. Look at this old door. Oh, hi, sorry, go ahead. Can I take a video? I'm on a video.
Sorry, what?
I'm on a video, is that okay? I was just showing different things in Leesburg.
Yeah, we closed 30 minutes ago.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know you closed, sorry.
Yeah, you're good.
I was just showing what it was. Okay, I'll cut, do you want me to cut this out? I was just showing like what it was.
I mean, it's fine if you want.
Okay, okay. So yeah, guys, this looks like it's just like a really cool bakery. There's a little bit of condensation, but it's just chocolate cream, banana cream. They got all kinds of different pies here. And it's a small shop. I mean, you can see the back. Do you know what this was originally?
I think it was a service station.
Oh, it was a service station, okay. And here's pecan, chocolate pecan, and regular pecan. Oh, and bourbon walnut. So if you guys like those kind of things. And they got some cool mugs here too. Those look really fun. They got all kinds of colors. And then some coffee here. Okay. Okay, thanks so much. I appreciate you for letting me look. Thanks. Okay, guys, so that's a little pie shop we just saw. Smelled pretty good in there. I know a lot of people that like pecan pie. My sister really liked pecan pie, and my parents like it pretty well. I can't stand pecan pie personally. I prefer apple, which I'm sure they have apple pie in there too. But yeah, I've never been one for pecan pie. To me, it just tastes so incredibly sweet. Like, I just can't do it. I never understood it, the hype over it. There's another vintage car. Pretty cool. I like that color too. So we're just walking past where I was a few minutes ago. I'm walking back the other way. I'm not really sure what's down that way. I think that this, if we go in this direction, it'll be a little bit more engaging because there's more shops. So that's why I'm turning around. Because we haven't been on this street. So yeah, here we have more historic buildings over there too. Now, if you go past that building, that was a coffee shop I went to a while back. And they have a nice shop over there. And I'm not sure what, this is Market Station. I feel like this may have been some kind of train station at one point. I think they did have some kind of train depot here at one point, but maybe it's not here anymore. I haven't seen it. So yeah, we could always cross and check it out. Why don't we do it? Let's do it. Okay, so here we're coming up on a sign. It says, so there's just a bunch of different places. I've heard good things about Fireworks Pizza. I've never been there, obviously, but I've heard good things about it. And coming up on this building, it really looks almost like, it almost looks like European for some reason. I don't know why I think that. Maybe it's just the way that the wood is constructed on it. Look how thin the slats of siding are. Now, originally people built here, now this doesn't look like it. This looks like it's just pure wood, but the people built, wood sidings on top of this kind of stonework. So I've never been in here. Look, you can take a picture in that if you're really short, or I guess get on your knees. Even if I was on my knees, I think I'm not that short, but there's some coffee roasters here, and that looks like it's just storage. So looks like there's a Mexican restaurant or a Latin restaurant. This I'm not sure what it is. There's a grill. This is interesting. What's this? Ah, I guess that's a deer antler or something. Interesting. Look at that stone, how it glows. Zoom in. It kind of glows if you're in person. It's kind of interesting. I wonder if we can go up here, if this is like open to the public. I'm not sure if it is or not. I'm kind of worried of spiders, especially in the summer. Look at that, guys. Should we try it? Kind of nervous to go up here. You know what this reminds me of is those 1990s like jungle gyms. Remember those? How they were all wood. There was like no color on it. It was just wood. And you can go up another floor too. This is the deck. That's what it looks like. Huh. Oh, there's a plane up there. It's probably going to Leesburg Airport. It's one of those smaller planes. They fly those out here. They did that in Manassas too. They'd fly those kind of planes. So there's like these smaller kind of almost historic planes. You try to go up another floor and see what's up there. And this lamp is so 90s. They had this in the mall when I was a kid growing up. It's very 90s. So maybe this was built in that time frame. I'm not sure. I'm kind of afraid to go up here because I'm worried, like, it just looks like a place a spider would be living. So you can see the webs right there. This is just a lookout. I'll go up for you guys, even though I don't really want to. There's a little bird. There you go. So yeah, I guess you can just sit up here and chillax. I'm not sure if this is somebody's residence or it's a store, or maybe one of the shopkeepers lives up here. But that's what that is. So what was that? There was water that just went in my shoe. That's freaking me out. Okay. All right, guys. So we're just gonna keep walking here. These animals do not care at all. Clearly, they literally could care less. Like, I am so shooketh by that. So I guess this is a little shopping mall kind of thing. They got a lot of restaurants though. So yeah, you can go up that one too, it looks like. So I'm not gonna go up all of them for time purposes because there's just so much to see in this area, but you're getting a general understanding of what's here. So let's take a look at this. It looks like they've got a holistic health store and they've got this like little ceramics. It looks like that's closed. So yeah. Gathered on South. They said that they're gone. So I guess a lot of, they have little hats here. Salty, ask me about my dog. Pickleballer, gone clubbing, he's golfing. Yeah, I can't relate to that. This is a nail salon. So yeah, it just looks like it's a few little places to shop. And here's a historic plaque over here. So maybe we can take a look at that. Log house. Okay. Market Station's log house, built in 1840 in Rectorstown. That's, oh, it says Maryland, yeah. Huh, that's interesting. Okay. Is made entirely of Native American chestnut. Oh, wow. So I guess this is Native American chestnut. Anyways, the German builders covered the logs with clapboard and plaster. These protective refinements usually reserved as additions for later, more prosperous years, and have helped preserve the condition of the logs over the past century and a half. So this was originally covered with clapboard and plaster. That's what happened to there. So that's why these are in such good condition, is what they're saying. They go on to say the owners eventually added a stone wing and a frame wing as the farm around the house grew to include corn sheds, hay barns, livery stables, and a smokehouse. Livery stables, I guess that's like livestock stables, and a smokehouse. The house was occupied until 1978 when it was disassembled and its logs numbered, diagram for reassembly, and stored in Frederick, Maryland. That's north of here. Obviously it's Maryland, but it's kind of northwest in Maryland. The house has been reconstructed at Market Station and reflects a typical log home of the region. Yeah, that's interesting. I wonder why. And they've just got like, it looks like, well, maybe we can go inside. Hi, I'm on a video. Is that okay? Okay, cool. So this is the inside. So they're selling different lemonades, simple syrup. So you can put this, it's peach simple syrup. You can put in coffee, tea, cocktails. I would put that in a cocktail. This would be good in jalapeno simple syrup would be good in a mojito. Or I'm sorry, what do you call it? A margarita. They do spiced margaritas if you like that kind of thing. Lavender lemon. This looks cool. This is great for cocktails. They have a cocktail mix, lemon drop mix. That's pretty cool. So you guys should come here if you want that. They got jellies. It looks. Oh no, classic lemonade concentrate, made in Virginia. So it's lemonade concentrate. So yeah, it looks like hibiscus simple syrup. It looks like a lot of simple syrups and concentrates if you like that kind of thing. And so this is. I wonder if that was built later, or if that's part of the original. Thank you so much. Is this part of the original structure? Do you know?
I believe it is, yeah.
Oh, okay. So this is part of the original structure. Very cool. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. I'm just on video showing. I compose music on YouTube if you want to see this later.
Okay.
At icomposemusic. Yeah. Thank you. All right. So that's the inside there. That was actually a pretty cool place because, that's not something you see every day. Like places you can buy simple syrups and stuff for cocktails. That was pretty cool. That's good to know that's there. So that's a little bit of that. Let's keep going. I wonder why they reconstructed that cabin here. I guess they're just trying to show, I think this road is more residential, so I'm going to turn around. But I wonder why they reconstructed that here and they didn't just like put it in Frederick or somewhere in Maryland. That's interesting. Let me show you guys this view. You know, I was reading an article the other day, or actually maybe it was a Instagram reel, and see up there, those look like they're cirrus clouds, or at least a little bit similar to cirrus clouds. And there was, anyways, the reason I'm saying it is I was reading or watching some video, reading something like that, where they were saying that people don't know how to tell anymore, the younger generations that is, like, you know, natural signs, because that means rain is on its way. You know, I guess scientifically they taught us that in school, that's what those wispy, feathery cirrus clouds mean. So now this is a Visit Loudoun Information Center. Oh, look, they have a plaque here too. Osterberg Mill. Let me zoom out so you guys can screenshot. William Oster built this water-powered grist mill in the late 1800s to serve the residents of Osterberg, the village he founded in Three Springs Valley between Allegheny and Cove Mountains in southwestern Pennsylvania. Okay, so I guess, I'm just going to read real quick. Large wooden water wheel powered the mill. They did flour in the mill as well. They ground flour there. So they said in 1984, the old mill left Pennsylvania and headed toward Virginia to begin a new chapter in its history as part of Leesburg Market Station. The mill is well suited to this Virginia town, as many water-powered mills of its vintage were once familiar landmarks along streams and railroad lines of the county. Okay, so they must have taken a lot of things. Where's the water wheel though? Do they even, I guess this must be the mill or something? But where's the water wheel? I mean, like, why would you move this and not put the wheel? That's kind of weird. So I guess what they're trying to do is take things that would be found here. Okay, there was a lot of people, and I just don't know if they want or feel comfortable with being in the shot. So I was trying not to get them in the shot. But yeah, I guess they're trying to move a lot of that stuff that would be typically found here. I mean, I do see this, which looks like maybe water would have run under there, allegedly. I mean, maybe that was just, they built it to look like that, and maybe that's where the wheel would have been, who knows? Maybe it's just part of the mill. But yeah, it looks like they're trying to put a lot of stuff here that kind of resembles what would have been here at that time. So yeah, let's just keep going, and we'll maybe check out the main street and see some of the shops. Okay, so I walked a little bit further up on the main street here. This is called the Benjamin Thornton House. Oh my gosh. And here's my OOTD, my outfit of the day, if you guys could see in that reflection. So here you have, I guess this is their marker if something is historic. I don't see a plaque, so I'm not sure exactly what this history of this was, but if you're interested, you can look it up, the Benjamin Thornton House. This is a very interesting kind of plaster situation. Let me zoom out. Maybe it's like a caulking or plaster. I guess caulking is between a crack, but there's some wood there. Anytime you see this going on, see how it's cracking like that? Anytime you see that, that's usually lead paint, in my opinion. So it's, yeah. This almost looks like what you see on islands. It looks like they took, some clay or something, and then they just did that to protect the stones, because otherwise these would constantly be chipping off, and they have to keep redoing them. So it's just to protect that. This may be historic, but they have a lot of this kind of woodwork, and you want to try to make sure that's protected. Not woodwork, stonework. So you want to make sure it's protected, because otherwise you're just gonna have to keep redoing it. It's a pain in the butt. So yeah, that what that reminds me of is the places that we saw in Middleburg. If you go back to that video, By the way, shameless plug here. Follow me on Instagram, icomposemusic. See the two chimneys? There's one on that side, one on that side. So they had them in both sides of the house. I was looking for a theater called the Tally Ho Theater, because that theater was built in the 30s. It's still going today. I mean, they have shows there and stuff, so that's kind of cool. The lights here are a little bit much. They take a long time to turn. Here's another historic car. I'm not sure exactly what it is. I was standing here so long, I feel like I could literally ask that guy in his car what his car is, because I've literally been standing. Should I do it? I don't know if he can hear me over the engine. What is the car? What is it? It's a what? Chevelle? Okay, it's a 1970s Chevelle. Yeah, so that's what that is. It's pretty cool, guys. Yeah, I've seen 3 historic cars. That's a lot to see so far, just here. So this must be a really big area for historic cars. Here we have a historic newspaper opener thing, dispenser. But yeah, these were when I was little, they had them. There's a bunch of trash in there now, but they would put newspapers in there. You see a lot of people have put different the political opinions here and different brands and things like that. Okay, so here we have another mural. So that's pretty cool. It looks like they have that cabin that we saw in the beginning. Maybe that's the same one. And I was right, they used to have a train. They must have, because that's why they have that in here. And then, donated to Leesburg 2018. Here's some more murals. So you have a painter. I guess it's someone notable. Let's find out who it is. So that's the person. You can screenshot if you want to know, but yeah, these were, I think that was the person that is a local artist that painted it maybe. This is a notable figure. So she was just painting different notable figures. There's the barbershop. Okay. So there's some kind of group going on over there. I'm not sure what it is. So here we're coming up on one of these buildings. Now, I believe this is one of the Covenant houses. And this is what I was telling you guys about before, where this guy basically, when he got this land, he was like, okay, you guys can build houses, but they have to be like this dimension by this dimension. And they have to be like made of certain, I think he said what materials they have to be made out of and stuff. There's it's a biscuit store, very specific things here. If you look across the way, this building looks really like interesting, very historic. And look at that crown molding, I guess you call it, the kind of top of the building, way it's designed is very intricate. Let's go this way. Oh, there's the Tally Ho. That's what I wanted to show, because that was in the 30s that was built. So yeah, I wonder if I can go inside. I wonder if it's open. I've passed this on the street, but like I've never been in it, so built in the 30s. Let me see if I can go inside. I doubt this is automatic yet. Oh, motion activated. So maybe it's closed. It's probably closed. Yeah, it's closed. Yeah, so they probably are only open when they have a show in there or something. But if you look in there, you kind of can't see because of the glare. But I mean, you can tell this is an old poster. I mean, maybe actually that's just Irish. So yeah, maybe that's just the design of it. But these are the shows, if you guys want to screenshot that. They've got like a Bruce Springsteen tribute. I'm not a big Bruce Springsteen fan. I don't like his voice. They got K-pop Demon Hunters, Guns N' Roses Experience, Magic City Hippies, Linkin Park tribute. Man, I mean, that makes me feel old. Because look at all these other bands. They're all for like, older artists. Nirvana Experience, Journey tribute. I'm not a Journey fan. I really am not. So yeah, that's that, guys. Now here, this looks like it's the library, I think. Is this the library? Oh, maybe it's not. Let's figure out what it is. It's kind of a cool courtyard. And there's some more purple flowers. They're a little bit too light to match my outfit though. But yeah. You know what these look like? I know they're not, but they look like, even though they're not. See how these open like that? And there used to be, when I was a kid, my dad would grow a flower called morning glories. They were these little, you can Google them and see what they look like, but they open in the morning and then basically they close in the later part of the day. Well, anyways, they had little seedlings like that, and they would get this kind of brown crunchy shell, and you would just crack it open and all the little seeds would fall out. They're little black seeds, and then you plant them. You can make more morning glories. So that was what that reminded me of. What is this? Dogwoods for Loudoun. In the fall of 1999, the Dogwood Committee planted 400 Kuza dogwood trees along the Leesburg bypass. The committee thanks those who so generously gave to this beautification project. Okay, so they're just thanking some people. Dogwood is a type of tree. It's native to Virginia. Or I guess it's the tree of Virginia. I love this. This is a cool color. That's my favorite color. I mean, I'm guaranteeing this. Oh, it's open. I thought it would be closed. I don't know what this even is. Okay. So this is just saying it's dedicated to some people. I can't believe it's open. I don't know what it is. It's dead silent. I'm scared to even speak because I'm like, oh, there's some, am I allowed to be in here? Okay, cool. What is this? I'm on a video. What is it? Oh, okay, cool. Okay, so it's a city hall, guys. That's what it is. Can I be on video? Is that okay? I'm on a video. Okay, cool, thank you. He said that was okay. So yeah, I guess this is the city hall. So they talk a little bit about the history here. Let me show this. So if you guys want to read more about it, you can screenshot and zoom in. But, oh, look, that was the log cabin we saw. That's what it is. And then the stone house. Okay, let's see if they say anything about the log cabin. Oh, this was the person I was telling you guys about earlier. Nicholas Minor. I think he was the one that got it. And he was the one that told the people the rules for the covenant houses, I think. Minor sold the lots with a strict covenant: erect, build, and finish one house of brick, stone, or wood, well framed, of the dimensions of 20 feet long and 16 feet wide, and 9 feet pitched at the least, with a brick or stone chimney. I believe he also said they had to do it within 3 years, so he gave them a time limit too. By specifying the size and materials and a time limit of 3 years, he encouraged the construction of the permanent fire-safe buildings. And remember in Manassas, I said that's why they build them out of stone, because the wood, they just burned all down in that Great Fire of 1905. That's probably why they're telling them that they had to build stone here, because again, fireproof. And remember, they had a railroad here, allegedly, at one point. So covenant houses standing today include the stone house and the log cabin. Okay, so the log cabin, I don't think the stone house was the one I showed out there. Can we see it from here? No, we can't. It's further down. The log cabin we did see though. So that was, I guess, part of the covenant house. And so this is just talking about colonial Leesburg. So that was the Loudoun National Bank, Old Stone Church. Okay, so I believe this is I think it's a Methodist church. I want to say it's a Methodist church. And they had basically a situation where they had to get any church that was not associated with the Church of England approved to be able to build it, because they had to get permission from England or something. I think it was some situation very strange like that. And oh wait, actually it says right here, the community's religious tolerance allowed dissident churches. Dissident churches is anything that was not that associated with the Church of England to coexist with the official Church of England. So it says the Methodist Society built its first American church in Leesburg in 1766. This is still owned today. The church is no longer there, but the graveyard is, or cemetery is. So this building is, a picture like this is old because it's gone, but the graveyard is still there, the cemetery is still there. It's still owned by the Methodists as well, I believe. So yeah, it said the Methodist Society built its first American church in Leesburg in 1766. It had an integrated congregation of whites and freed and enslaved blacks. The oldest Presbyterian church in town, built in 1804, continues to serve its congregation even today. Many Protestant denominations, Quakers, Catholics, and a small number of Jews worship freely in Leesburg. So, and then this is the Balls Bluff Cemetery. So, and that's the Leesburg Depot. So I'm not gonna be able to read all of this, but for time. But you can feel free to screenshot that and read more. So these were African American students. I believe there was a school that was an African American school, but it wasn't accredited. So back in the day, allegedly, from what I heard, I can flip the camera because I'm talking a lot, and I feel like it would make sense to flip the camera since I'm talking. So that was like a picture of them because like back in the day, a lot of the African American schools were not accredited. So many of them would send, African Americans would send their children to schools in DC where they were accredited. So let's read a little bit about that. Now, Frederick Douglass School, that came later. Now that's this actually. And that's a whole story. I'll see what they say about it. But basically, some African American families saved up money because I guess the reason was they said, that we don't have the land for it. So they saved money and they bought the land. And then they told, this is after the Civil War, but they told the county or the Leesburg, whatever, they said, hey, we need you to build a school because we gave you the money. They sold it to the county for $1, and then the county basically dragged their feet, and they never, they basically didn't build it. So basically they sued, and then that finally got their act in gear, and they finally built it. But it took a lot for them to get that school, and before that was the old one that, again, I was saying wasn't accredited. So let's see what they say about it. So they're basically saying here, 2 world wars, a Great Depression, and decline of the county's robust agriculture industry altered the landscape in and around Leesburg. Even with the introduction of the automobile, electric and telephone lines, and paved roads, Leesburg prosperity before the Civil War would not be revived for a century. Yeah, that's what I was reading online as well. That they were not doing too well after the Civil War. It says segregation remained, separate neighborhood schools, recreational venues, and even some churches. So they're basically just talking a little bit about that. They said that the Leesburg Training School, which I believe is that. Oh yeah, it is. See, I have that title there. That's established in 1880. Initially a black elementary school, developed a 3-year vocational program for older students by the 1930s. Frederick Douglass High School, which is this one, that's that. They said that one was established in 1941 and initiated and partially funded by concerned black parents, was the first and only black 4-year high school in Loudoun until all the county schools were integrated in the 68 and 69 school year. So they didn't tell you much about that, so I'm glad I remembered that story so I could share that. So that was the World War II monument that we saw earlier. See, that was from a long time ago. See how old that picture is? That's where we saw the squirrels over here. The squirrels were chasing me and chasing each other. They were wild, very excited. That's the airport. And then you got some festivals here. This is the outlet mall down the road. It brings in, how many visitors? I think it was something a million, I think, visitors it brings in. Don't quote me on that, but it's a lot of people that come for that mall. I'll be honest with you, it really isn't that great. I mean, it's okay. I mean, they got a good polo outlet there. I like their polo outlet because they have certain sweaters I can't get anywhere else. But I mean, to be honest with you, I don't really like it that much. It's kind of just a long way for a whole lot of nothing, in my opinion. But I guess if you like that kind of thing, go to it. It's great for people that like outlet shopping. I just think I don't really like outlet shopping. Anyway, so yeah, they're just talking about different stuff. They say that planned neighborhoods with shops and schools, they basically share rolling hills with 18th century plantation homes and barns. And unfortunately, now there's a lot of data centers here. But yeah, so this is just talking about preservation and innovation here. So they have Ferguson Home on Market Street. Obviously I can't read all that. And this is just out here. We were just there. This is the town hall. So that was the Ferguson home lot. So this must have been the home was here where we're standing right now. That must have been here. And then that's where the lot was. So I guess they dedicated that lot to that person. Leesburg Inn demolished in the 70s. Okay. Yeah, these don't really do well, the motels. A lot of them get torn down. They recently tore down, I think it was called Breezeway in Fairfax over the past few years. They're just not, those motels aren't doing well. So People's National Bank, that's where the Lightfoot restaurant is. Beautifully preserved in the Lightfoot restaurant, yep. So yeah, I'm not gonna read the whole thing, but you get the point. You know, then that's the bank and now that's the restaurant. That's the Lightfoot restaurant, which is really good. I recommend going there, it's really good. Oh, there it is, yeah. So that's it today and that's it in the past. So that's what it looks like. It looks like they put a, this is original, this stonework, but it looks like they put plaster on there to protect that work. Yeah, it's some radio thing. Loudoun Museum, yeah, so that was helpful. They have a lot of information about that. So yeah, okay, so there wasn't really anything up there. It's mostly just offices, and down there it looks like it's more of the same. Like there's a little gallery. They have some artwork and, oh, look at that. Yeah, I guess that's a little courtyard garden or something. Please turn off cell phones and pagers. Yeah, I don't think anyone has a pager in 2026 when this is being recorded. Well, actually it does say turn off cell phones, but I highly doubt at this time of day there's anything going on. That's locked anyways, so yeah, I don't think there's anything even up here. Cool. This reminds me of, remember when Wendy's in the 90s and the 80s used to have these like skylit kind of, yeah, that's just probably the same situation up there. Thank you so much. Okay, so look at this sculpture coming up here. It's a little heart. I feel like there was one of these near that market too, I saw in the distance. So that must be by an artist that's like local. Lubna Zahid, Paths Through Time. That's the artist. Okay, so here's some more historic kind of things. This is cute. And they got little dollhouses and stuff. It looks like it's a children's baby store or something like that. They've got like baby stroller things and toys and things. So it looks like there's some realtors, stuff like that out here. This would be a really great place to come and take pictures. It reminds me of a mixture of like Middleburg and Old Town Alexandria. What it doesn't remind me of is Manassas. Manassas has a very different vibe to it, and I think the reason for that is it was built much later. So you got some more historic houses there. So yeah, a lot of the stores are already closed. I didn't expect that, to be honest. When I looked online, it said most of these were open until 8 o'clock. So I don't know why it said that. That was the old bank, everybody. That's the old bank. See up there, it says way up there, People's National Bank. And then that's the logo, I guess. So that's what that was. I'm not gonna go in there because, you know, obviously it's a restaurant. That's a cool sign. This is the Daniel Losh House. It was renovated and by someone, and it looks like 2012. So things are just closed. I was hoping more things would be open, but at least you kind of get to see the town. But yeah, they just have a lot of baby clothes, you know. I'll be honest with you, a majority of the stuff here is restaurants. I feel like, you know, that looks very old. Like that definitely looks like it's from like the 1700s. And here we see that plaster again. It almost looks like stucco. That's what it looks like. The walkways are brick here, and there's a lot of uneven brick. It reminds me of Frederick. That's an old house. Look at the shutter is closed. You know, those shutters, you never ever see that anymore because they're all cosmetic now. But shutters actually used to close. I guess they would do that for kind of like blackout so they could sleep. Maybe that's why they had those. I'm not sure. These are some beautiful homes. I'm sure they're worth a lot of money. And they're probably worth a lot of money to upkeep too. That's the problem with a lot of older homes. I mean, you just got to know that you're going to have to invest, right? And some people feel that's worthwhile. Some people don't. It almost looks like the like a Victorian style, but like done later. Oh look, it's a Gerber daisy. I'm pretty sure that's what that is. Oh, and look, there's a bee on one. The bee has some pollen already on his leg. You guys can see that. All right, so zooming out here, we got some more historic houses. So you're getting a general understanding. I know that there are some people that are interested in seeing stuff like this. They like seeing the houses. And there we have again that kind of stucco situation that we keep seeing. I haven't really seen that in Manassas, and I don't remember seeing it much in Middleburg. So I wonder if that is like specific to this area. Like maybe that was some kind of style. Now this is the cemetery. I wonder if this is where that church was, that First Methodist Church. Look at this fence. Now you know that's not from this time period. And there's a house like this in Manassas. They used to have a Tweety bird on it. And it, I don't know what era it's from. Maybe it's from the Victorian or 20s, probably the 20s. I mean, I feel like anything with like that style is probably from maybe like the 20s or something, because a lot of them would sit on the porch and stuff because there wasn't really air conditioning. I don't think air conditioning came about until like the 60s. So this is a graveyard. And we'll try to raise it up so you can see. So these look like really old tombstones. So I do want to say that this is probably from that church that was here. I'm holding the camera up so I can't really see it much, but I do want to say that this is probably from that church, the Methodist one. Let's see. Oh no, St. James Episcopal Church. So maybe this is a different one. It does appear that you can go inside. I don't really want to touch that because it looks really rusty and gross, so I'm not going to do that. Maybe I should start bringing gloves so that I can actually go in some of these places. But I mean, you kind of get the point. I mean, I can see from here, like I'll zoom in, but I can see from here, it says 1829. Or wait, it says 1820. When I look on my phone, I can see it a little better. So you can see these are really old. So this is kind of interesting. I haven't really seen this gas car something box. I've never seen that before. I did read online though that they found while doing construction some pipes underground that were wooden to carry water. So I guess at one point they were using wooden pipes to carry water to the town, and it was from a spring that was up the road. Oh, and here real quick is the Loudoun National Bank. It does look like it's under some kind of construction right now, so you can't really go in there, but that's the bank. All right, I'm on the other side of that original street we were on, and I didn't even realize this because I was on the other side, but that is very historical, almost Victorian. This is like a very beautiful house. I love this kind of siding, or what would you call this? Like shackling siding up here. It almost looks like scales. I feel like that's very Victorian. Yeah, so that's really gorgeous. I feel like back in the Victorian times, someone very wealthy would have lived there. This is a church. Let me zoom out. So it's called St. James Episcopal. It's interesting because the graveyard we saw was from this, but it's not near here. But this is a pretty cool church, the way it's designed from here. But yeah, I saw that there was like a graveyard up here for that old Methodist church. And look at these trees. They're browning, probably from the heat, and it almost looks like autumn. Oh, I see the lead paint from here. I can tell that's lead paint. I don't think that this is a school. See, look, that's what I was talking about. See how it cracks like that? And they stopped doing lead paint because people, like kids, were eating it because it tastes sweet, allegedly. I do not know this from experience. I've never eaten lead paint, but apparently it tastes very sweet. So, oh no, it's a library. And look at the typeface or font. That looks like it's from the 30s. Wonder if there's no historic plaque that I see. So that's what that was. It was a library. While I'm walking over there, I ran into an older gentleman, and he was telling me that I should walk down the street I was on, and I'll cut the footage and like go back to it and walk all the way over there, so I'm not just walking forever. But he was telling me to go back over there because he said there are some really cool houses, and he said there looked like an area in some of the houses to play croquet, and I should go look at it. I think he said it was croquet. I don't really know what croquet is. I'm pretty sure it's some British thing. It's like a sport, and they have like a ball and a stick. But that doesn't really help much, does it? Because polo has kind of like a ball and a stick too, right? Now that's a picture. I should take one. All right, I took a picture of that because that was so cool. Fighting for Freedom, Mount Zion Community Cemetery. So this isn't. This looks like it's, let's see, 4 African-American Civil War veterans are buried in the cemetery. It says, names of them. You can screenshot if you want to read. I'll hold it all the way out for you while I'm reading this. It says that nearly 200,000 African-Americans who served in the U.S. colored troops during the Civil War, a number representing 10% of the total number of federal troops. Langford, who served aboard, and this must be, he's an unidentified African-American sailor. And this is another picture of the troops, colored troops there. The 4 veterans buried here served in units that saw action in numerous battles. They're talking about the different battles. So you guys can screenshot that. These are their tombstones. I'm wondering if this is maybe the Methodist cemetery. So let's find out and see if we can go in there. Or I guess get close. Oh, yes it is. Confirmation. Old stone church site. First property in America deeded for a Methodist church, May 11th, 1766. It is official shrine of the United Methodist Church. Okay? So, you can see all of the seals, saying it's, they at least repainted that. Oh, you can go inside. Let's take a look. So, because they have a historical marker here, and might tell some information. Oh, and look at this beautiful gate. J.R. Armistead. In 2018, there's a fly in my face, sorry guys. In 2018, during the construction of new residences, the remains of 6 individuals, 3 women and 3 men were recovered nearby. These individuals have been interred within Leesburg Methodist Episcopal Church's Old Stone Church Cemetery during the late 19th century. And basically in 2019, they were returned to the cemetery, interred here in their final place of rest. So that's what that was saying. It says this is the site of the Old Stone Church. Has probably like a little map or something like that. Highlights of history. Methodist beginnings in Leesburg. So it's talking about the Methodist Church a little bit. Let me see if I can get a little bit closer. I'm a little bit wary of that because there's a bunch of spider webs up there. So I'm just going to zoom in. So it says, for all the saints, the story of the Old Stone Church is told in the lives of the saints who have labored in the faith. In this place, their number includes, and these are different people. So it says William Duke, who came from the Frederick Circuit to preach in Leesburg amid the gathering storm of the American Revolution. Thomas Rankin, appointed by Methodism's English founder John Wesley to work in the colonies, who found a deeply serious congregation in Leesburg in 1775. There's just different people. They have American Methodism's first bishop, Francis Asbury, who preached here on his first recorded visit on February 29th, 1776. William Waters, the first American-born Methodist traveling preacher, presided here. Richard Owings, the first American-born Methodist local preacher. You can read all of these different things. You can zoom in and That one is Francis Asbury. So remember, he is, was he on here? He's the American Methodist first bishop. So yeah, so he was in 1776. He preached here, and he was the first American Methodism's first bishop. And then that guy is Robert Strawbridge, and he's, I don't even see him on here. With Strawbridge, yeah, I don't even see him on here, but I guess he's somebody. Yeah, I don't see him. So I'm just gonna do a quick, just walk through. I'm not gonna spend too much time. This is just to show you what it is. So, you know, you got obviously some cemeteries here. I mean, this one looks probably like it's a little bit more recent. Sarah something. Yeah, I can't make out all of the names because they're kind of washed away. There's a little bit of noise, but my microphone is really good, so it'll probably take care of that. This is really old. I mean, you can't even see anymore what was on that. So yeah, but I mean, I would assume there's, I'm so sorry guys about the noise. There's people here from the 1700s. I mean, look at this guy, Samuel Cover. He was born in 1795 and he died in 1875. He was 80 years old. I shall be satisfied when I awoke with thy likeness. Psalm 17:15. So yeah, I'm just showing you guys generally. You get the idea. I'm gonna move away from this leaf blowing activity going on, but you guys understand what it is. And as you guys can see here, there's a bunny, and I'm closing the gate at the same time. But it's just sitting there. I mean, these animals don't really move. There we go, he moved. But anyways, I'm gonna go over here really quick and see those houses the guy was talking about. All right, so he told me that if I walk down here, I'll see some cool houses. Let's cross this way because I think this house looks pretty cool. This house looks very nice. Like, I like the way it's laid out. That's an interesting driveway. I've never seen that before. I wonder if it helps with like cracking from roots or something, because look at how large that tree is right next to that. It's pretty interesting. Looks like a pine of some kind. But yeah, that's a really pretty house. And then look at this vintage car. It's a Saab 900S. I don't think they make a Saab anymore. That's really pretty. But yeah, this old guy told me to come down here, older gentleman. He said it was cool down here, so I'm here. Janney House. I don't know who that is. There's a little garden here. These must be the ones he was talking about. I mean, those were cool. I mean, I like that one house with the garden. Look at this hinge. You can tell that's old. These shutters, look, they have little holes. Like, look at the detail, how the craftsmanship was just so important to people. I guess this is how you lock it. Maybe you can lock them. Okay, guys, so you can see how the humidity has really affected my hair. But yeah, that was fun. It was interesting to see Leesburg. I mean, I saw a lot of things that I wasn't expecting to see, like the mill that was relocated. So pretty cool stuff. Also, I find it really interesting that, you know, a heavy, I guess, element of the video was, you know, the church campuses. And I ended up wearing, you know, this cross in my stained glass looking top that reminds me of stained glass. It's kind of funny because I wasn't expecting that to be such a large portion. Ooh, there's mosquitoes. Such a large portion of the video. But yeah, all right, I'm gonna end it here because I've been on for a while. So thanks if you watched this far into the video. And yeah, I will see you guys next time.